Hello! Hi everyone! Welcome to Guiding Voice podcast series, the guiding voice for a better future. This podcast is to help students and young professionals shape their careers. Thank you for tuning in. This is Naveen and I'm with my co-host Sudhakar. Dear listeners, in this episode, we want you to get some insights on whether software testing or quality assurance a good career option or not. And we are pleased to welcome Tribikram Rath to our show today.
Tri is a distinctive leader in testing and quality assurance domain and brings vast experience in the areas of evaluation, implementation, and developing customized test automation solutions using industry tools like robotic process automation, UiPath, Jenkins, Selenium, Perfecto Mobile, LoadRunner, Squish, EggPlant, Sikuli, scriptless tools like WorkSoft or Qualitia, QAInspect, Burp Suite, etc., covering test automation, performance engineering, and application security testing. In the last few years, Tri has led quality assurance, process maturity transformation for complex projects to deliver lasting testing solutions to end customers. He introduced Touchless or continuous testing to support the DevOps ecosystem.
Tri also led and implemented ISO 9001-2000 controls and Capability Maturity Model CMM for enterprises. During his early career phase, Tri developed several .NET and multimedia-based applications and authored technical publications and articles for the internet. Coming to the academics, Tri has done his major in production engineering from Dr. B.A. Marathwada University, India. He also holds PG Diploma in Management from ICFAI University.
Tri is a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, PMP, and earned several software quality assurance SQA certifications. Tri's hobbies include motorcycling, karaoke, home gardening, and social volunteering. Hello, Tri. Welcome to our podcast series, and we are excited to have you as our guest for today.
Sudhakar, thank you very much for the invitation. I really feel honored to be part of your podcast today, and I hope you are not going to ask me tough questions.
Tri, we are really happy that you proposed this valid and timely topic. We are sure this would definitely help our listeners in shaping their careers. What do you think about software testing or quality assurance as a career option? Also, can you throw some light around career paths for software testing professionals in the current context?
Yeah, so if you look at India is world's IT market of around 180 billion US dollars, including both export and domestic revenues. And we are growing at a rate of more than 12-13% each year. And when you develop any application or you do any enhancement to your existing applications, you have to ensure that you test it thoroughly, right? And when you do develop, there is a need of testing. Otherwise, the software can sometimes lead to a catastrophe or a disaster. And we have witnessed this type of disaster in the recent past by ourselves too. Starting from the theft of sensitive users' personal data from the social media applications, to aircraft accidents due to software malfunction or ransomware attacks, different IT outages and data leakages that have affected some of the biggest companies and millions of customers around the world. We can discuss this in some other podcast in future, but the main objective why I highlighted these incidents is to tell your listeners that there is a huge opportunity of intelligent testing in the industry. Even some companies like Facebook, Google, Apple, they reward their end users for finding defects or bugs in their products too. So in my view, software testing is a very good career option if you have the real passion to analyze software apps or products to detect defects intelligently and ensure those software and products meet all their design criteria before they go to production.
Tri, in this current DevOps or business development security ops, biz DevSecOps arena, do you think testing as a specialized skill is still valid and relevant?
Yes. So if you look at the skill set gap between developers and test engineers, you can clearly see that that gap has been reduced over a period of time. Test automation is no longer a record and playback kind of job, the way it was a few years ago. Testing is no longer even activity post the development phase, the way we used to do in waterfall model, right? Once your development is done, then the testing can start. Before your development, testing cannot start. But in current scenario, it has been integrated now. It happens side by side along with the development in order to bring agility in the current DevOps or agile process. Test engineers have to programmatically develop the script and execute side by side and so on. And coming to the career path for aspirants, they can start their career as a trainee engineer. They can get promoted to test engineer, test lead, test architect, test managers. They can become head of the QA org, they can become director of QA, and it goes almost in the kind of similar fashion with any other IT jobs that we have very popular in IT industry. And coming to the salary range, if you look at test engineer salary, then on average you will see salary range of an automation tester between 1 to 3 years of experience. If you look at it, would be around 2.5 lakhs to 7 lakhs in Indian markets. And that depends on the type of technology and platform they are working on. So to summarize, a career in software testing and QA is definitely a good option. It's a well-paid job. There is good demand as well. And the career growth is similar to any other popular jobs in the IT industry.
What does a day in the life of a software tester or quality assurance engineer look like?
On a typical day, a software or QA engineer has to join daily stand-up calls or scrum calls. They have to review the requirements or user stories of the product or applications under development. They have to develop automation scripts, the test automation scripts. They need to do the dry runs. They need to also check in, check out the script code into the repository. And they have to integrate the script in the CI continuous integration tools like Jenkins for their automated execution and so on. They also spend a good amount of time ensuring the software defects are successfully logged into the defect tracking systems. There are several defect tracking systems in use, like most popularly ALM, Rally, and so on. From time to time, they have to review defects with the developers to ensure that everybody understands what is exactly the root cause of that defect and how to reproduce that defect and so on. They're also responsible for prioritization of test cases, providing the status update to the extended team and other stakeholders, providing several metrics around the overall QA process, and so on. You become really the man under spotlight when you find a real critical defect with the application. Otherwise, that defect would have gone into production, causing substantial loss for the business. It's really a very exciting job. It's a very satisfying job.
Right, that's a wonderful summary. So what skills one should possess to become a software QA engineer?
Sure. So we can probably look at the soft skills first. So under soft skills, I would say you need to have the right passion for testing. Right passion means you should enjoy what you are doing. You should have the self-motivation to enjoy all the tasks in software testing and QA process. You should feel satisfying when you find a defect, and you should be self-motivated to find more and more defects. You should always enjoy trying defects with applications. Find out 1,000 ways how you can find defects and so on. So passion is the first thing that I would recommend somebody must have in order to be successful in software testing. And going to the next one is the analytical skills. This one is also a very important skill that a tester should have. A test engineer should understand the whole application as a system or product and then break that into manageable units to ensure thorough testing. Analytical skills will also help in creating effective negative test scenarios to find the design, coding, or architectural defects. And coming to the next soft skill, I would say setting the right attitude. you need to have the right team spirit. You need to make yourself comfortable in working as a team. You need to help each other, focusing on quality of the overall software, collaborating with other members, helping them, being flexible to the need of work timing, quest for learning new skills and techniques, quick acceptance to org changes, and so on. These are the things that a good tester should have. And coming to communication, you need to have good verbal and written communication skill. You also need to learn, you need to mature in time management and organization skills. So these are different soft skills that a test engineer should have.
Try. Thank you for highlighting these soft skills. I think these are valid for everyone, not just for the QA specialists. On the technical skill set, what are the key areas that QA or test engineers should focus on?
Yeah, if you look at today's job market, QA or test professionals are more specialized in areas like mobile testing, cloud migration testing, security testing, data testing, performance testing, and so on. So there are so many fields of testing, that has emerged today. And coming to our technology platform, if you look at social media, mobility, analytics, and cloud, so any exposure to any of these domains will be definitely a big help to become a successful professional in software testing field. If you aim at becoming an automation test engineer, then you must learn an automation knowledge of any scripting language like your VB or JavaScript, programming language like C++ or maybe some fundamentals of Java. That would actually come in handy if you are looking for a career in test automation. Knowledge around a database or SQL queries, basic Linux commands, test and defect management tool will always be helpful in assuring a better career in testing.
So try. Essentially, you are saying a knowledge of a programming language would help someone become a better tester. Alright, so how has testing as a practice changed over the years? And what are the current priorities in testing domain?
As I indicated earlier, testing is no longer manual as it was few years ago. It is no longer a black box type of testing anymore, where testers would be, without having any understanding about the application architecture, they would be doing a black box testing by just feeding some inputs and see how the application is responding. Testing has changed. Testing tools, platforms, methodologies, skill sets, metrics, they have changed a lot. Testing is so vital to the success of product and software that the industry has come up with several development models like test-driven development models and so on. Organizations have embraced Agile as a response to rapidly changing requirements and DevOps as a response to the demand in speed. The adoption of both Agile and DevOps helps the teams to develop and deliver quality software much faster than ever. So this adoption has gained much interest over the past few years and continues to intensify in the coming years too. New technologies like artificial intelligence or machine learning for testing, mobile test automation, continuous testing in CI/CD space, performance engineering, security testing, data warehouse or business intelligence testing, services or API testing, etc. are emerging fields in this space.
Try. In this fast-paced world with these changes like DevOps, Agile, and artificial intelligence for testing that you mentioned, what are the latest tools or technologies that are available in this testing domain? Which testing tool is in demand at present?
Today, the speed in QA is the need of the hour. Conventional automation tools might need more time and effort in the beginning and might not be the right choice for automation. I see more and more adoption of scriptless tools in the industry where test engineers have to write very, very minimal or no script at all. This will ensure quicker test automation and productivity. I have some tools in mind that I see commonly used in the industry today, like Microfocus, UFT. Earlier it was called as HP QTP tool. It was very widely accepted tool. It is a widely accepted functional testing tool in the market. We also see tools like Test Complete, Ranorex, Sahi, Watir, Tricentis, Tosca, WorkSoft Certify, Qualitia, Selenium, Appium. The list is very big. They all fit today's needs around agile and DevOps transformation.
So try with most of the applications moving to the cloud and this fast forwarding due to this COVID-19 situation, do you see any shift in the testing approach towards the cloud?
Yes. Industry as such was inclined more towards cloud, right, as part of the digital transformation strategically. But the pandemic situation is definitely influencing enterprises to migrate their apps to cloud at the earliest in order to reduce their infrastructure cost. COVID-19 situation will challenge us to restrict our expenditure and that to limit it to essentials only in the short term. But in the long term, it will create some unique and new opportunities for all of us.
That's very interesting, and we have to wait and watch how things are going to shape up in future. Also try, IoT has been center of discussion for last few years. I'm sure the future of IoT domain is bright and there will be many projects in that space. Can you share some insights on how testing is done in IoT space?
Sure. IoT products have sensors, connectivity, processing, algorithms, security, big data, analytics, and so on. So this is a very complex system, and one automation tool cannot automate all the interfaces of the IoT implementation end to end. So functional testing for IoT will be a bit challenging. I believe that a mix of existing automation tools and some new innovative approach will be required to ensure the quality of IoT solutions in the market. We need to take advantage of simulators, service-based tools like SOAP UI, and several tools that can be integrated in order to have automation coverage for these complex IoT applications end to end. It is important to plan ahead and build the necessary tooling solutions needed to simulate the real-life environments.
Very well put through, Try. So you're saying we have to mix and match the approach in order to cover the entire space to come up with a comprehensive plan for IoT testing. Alright, so software has been automated to a great extent, and I'm assuming it's a lot simpler than hardware testing. Can you summarize how hardware testing is different from software testing?
Yeah, so in my view, Naveen, I don't think hardware testing can be compared with software testing. Yes, of course, we can test the software portion of a hardware. For example, CT, MRI, X-ray machines, they have their own software, and software test engineers can test these underlying software. The testing might be challenging here as well, as the test engineers have to be physically interacting with the device, with the machine, in order to test them. Alternatively, a mock software can be built side by side for our testers to download that. Even sitting remotely, they can download that software part of the hardware, and they can do the testing by themselves with executing the pre-written test scenarios. And they can also automate that, because this software would be creating or mimicking the actual software in the device. Let's say you are doing testing for X-ray machine, right? So you need to have that physical X-ray machine, and the user of the X-ray machine would be interacting with the software. So that software can be packaged and can be run on a PC, and test engineers can test that software on their PCs. They can also automate that. So hardware testing would be a bit different, because the test engineer has to be physically present and doing the execution manually. There would be need of some physical interaction with the device. Like as I gave you the example of X-ray machine, it could be anything. It can be also a digital device that needs to be tested on site. So you have to go there and test it, both software and hardware part. So it would be kind of, you need several unique ways of completing the end-to-end testing for hardware.
So Troy, can you please share with our audience on few work-life balance tips, please?
That's a great question. I think I might not be the right person to answer this. Honestly, I'm a workaholic, and sometimes I find it difficult in order to maintain the right work-life balance. However, I would recommend using your calendars effectively to block some time for your personal commitments. That would be a good idea to do. The lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation is creating a great opportunity for all of us to learn a little bit of work-life balance as well. We are more with family now. We started missing our work. We started missing our colleagues during the coffee breaks we used to go out. So, you can understand the situation now. So the work-life balance perception will also change in the time to come. But you will be productive, in my view, if your personal side is taken care of. If you are going to work, or if you are starting a meeting, or you want to do justice to your work, your personal things has to be taken care of. So I would definitely recommend you give good amount of time to your personal needs at family, or whatever you want to do in your free time as part of your hobbies. You should allocate some time. That is very, very essential in order to become successful in career also.
Thank you, Troy. That is really helpful, that you need to have the fine balance from personal and professional side of the business. Thank you for that. Troy, do you have any book that you want to recommend to our listeners that will help them in being ready to have better career?
Sure. In my view, test engineers should learn the art or science of how to break the applications. More scenarios, more failure case scenarios you find with the application becomes more robust and stable in the production environment. And I would recommend test engineers to little bit focus around how to break applications. So in that context, I would like to recommend a book, and the title of that book is How to Break Web Software, a Practical Guide to Testing by Mike Andrews and James A. Whitaker. It primarily focuses on how to rigorously test and improve the security of all your web applications. It's a very nice book. I definitely recommend that book to test engineers who are in early career phase. That would definitely enlighten them with certain new techniques on how to find out defects that cannot be captured with the normal automation scenarios. So you have to be a little bit innovative in order to find those flaws. And this book talks about that.
How to break web software. I'm sure our listeners will find it interesting enough. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, Troy. It was indeed a great conversation to discuss with you on various aspects of testing and quality assurance.
Thank you, Naveen and Sudhakar, for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Nice to talk with you, and all the best. Looking forward to talking with you again, probably in another podcast.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy. It was indeed a great conversation. Dear listeners, to know more about our speakers and the content, visit or follow us on social media, or feel free to email us, and we will be happy to share further details with you. Now, this brings us to the trivia segment of this episode. Today's trivia is about storage. Let me ask a quick question to all of you. What is the storage available on your mobile device from which you have tuned into our Guiding Voice podcast series? Let me take a guess. Is it like 32 GB? Or 64 gigs? Or maybe 128 gigs? Okay, I don't want to take a chance, but I'm sure it will be a minimum of 32 GB. But do you know that Apple II home computer had a hard drive of only 5 megabytes when it was launched in June 1977? And that is roughly size of a single selfie pic that we capture, or maybe a MP3 song that we play. However, 5 MB, which is 5 megabytes, was enough to deal with data at that point in time though. Interesting, isn't it? Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you for listening. So if you'd like to share any trivias, please feel free to share them through email, the guiding voice number 4 letter U @gmail.com, or you can SMS us or WhatsApp us on India number 9494587187. We will not only share the best trivias in future episodes, but we will also announce your names on this show. Again, folks, we are open for suggestions on topics that you would like to hear from us through email. Our email address is theguidingvoice number 4 letter U @gmail.com. I repeat, the email address is theguidingvoice number 4 letter U @gmail.com, and you may also WhatsApp us on India number 9494587187. Request you to like our page on Facebook, facebook.com/theguidingvoice number 4 letter U, and follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/guidingvoice, to stay tuned about future episodes. There is more in store. Until next time, have a wonderful time. Take care and be safe. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much.